Donald Trump just wrapping up a rampage against his Republican opponents. The businessman and presidential candidate lashing out at former President George W. Bush, his brother Jeb Bush, and most of all, Senator Ted Cruz. Trump calling his Texas rival a liar and unhinged, and threatening to bring a lawsuit against Cruz over his citizenship. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins me now. So, Dana, what's behind all this? What's he trying to do here today?
Look, what is going to happen in a couple of hours in South Carolina is what the Jeb Bush campaign tells me. A senior advisor told me earlier today, their best press day, they hope, since he announced on June 15th. Donald Trump is very, very savvy. He understands the media. He understands kind of the ebbs and flows of a news cycle. So what does he do best to get into that news cycle is it goes off, not just on the Bushes, both Bushes, but also on Ted Cruz. Listen to part of it.
I've heard for years he kept the country safe after 9. What does that mean, after? What about during 9/11? I was there. I lost a lot of friends that were killed in that building. The worst attack ever in this country, it was during his presidency. And I must tell you one thing about Ted Cruz that I can say that only to a minor extent by comparison for the other politicians. I haven't been doing this long. I've been in it since June 16th. But I will tell you, I have never, ever met a person that lies more than Ted Cruz. I have never, ever seen anything like it.
And it went on and on and on. I should say that while we were talking, Jeb Bush tweeted a response to what Donald Trump said. By the way, he was doubling down on the 9/11 comments from what he said over the weekend at a debate, exactly. And what Jeb Bush said, Donald Trump is trafficking 9/11 conspiracy theories. I'm offering detailed plans to defeat ISIS. We need an experienced commander.
Well, let's see if that one tweet can break through all the attention being focused on this. But how about Ted Cruz? Is he taking this lying down?
No, not at all. I mean, you saw on Saturday night the debate. They were pretty intense. Our Betsy Klein, our producer with Ted Cruz, just emailed that apparently Cruz was watching Donald Trump's presser. He said he thinks it's the most rattled he has seen Donald Trump in a press conference. He said, we're not in a grade school where you just get to say liar, liar, pants on fire. Earlier today, Ted Cruz said similar things, not just about Donald Trump, but about another front that he's fighting on, Marco Rubio. Watch this.
Two of the candidates in this race, Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, both have the very same pattern. Whenever anyone points out their record, they simply start screaming, liar, liar, liar. It's a very odd dynamic. You're right, it brings, name-calling is not a positive thing in politics.
So just to give you, our viewers, a little context, I'm sure that they've been paying attention, but South Carolina's primary is just a few days away. Donald Trump is pretty high in most polls. Ted Cruz is below him, and below him is Marco Rubio. So what Ted Cruz is trying to do there is trying to pull Donald Trump down, but also trying to keep Marco Rubio down as well.
Let me ask you a question, though, on this. And certainly this is about getting attention, and it's a smart campaign move, probably. But there are, I mean, Ted Cruz, in terms of the record, has a point, because Donald Trump's issues, he says, evolved. Others have said changed over time. Donald Trump in the past has said that he's in favor of abortion rights. Now he has changed. In the past, he says he's in favor of an assault weapons ban. Now he says that he has bona fides on the Second Amendment.
That's right.
In South Carolina, where you have very conservative voters, particularly evangelicals, an issue like abortion, is this a sign that Donald Trump is worried about Ted Cruz's attacks on his positions?
Probably, no question, because not only are you seeing Donald Trump do this in this press conference, to your point, Ted Cruz, he was just talking there about how negative everything is. Well, guess what? He and the super PAC that supports him, they're running negative ads. Everybody is. It's not just him, but specifically in what you were just talking about on the issue just after Antonin Scalia passed away, on the issue of what kind of Supreme Court justice Trump would put out there, and reminding everybody about his now infamous or famous quote from back during a Tim Russert interview where he said he is absolutely pro-choice. So that, of course, he's worried about that kind of thing hurting him.
No question. Well, great to have you on the story, Dana Bash. Thanks very much. We'll continue to follow this.